Especially when you see clips like this. You got Australia, Canada, Switzerland, Britain, Germany, France. People from Iran celebrating in the streets.
Wait, did you see the streets? From Australia to Canada, people are literally dancing. This isn't just a political shift, it's a global explosion of relief we haven't seen in decades. Stick around because the details of this strike are beyond anything reported.
From a senior Israeli security official, Israel assesses that more than 40 senior Iranian security and regime figures were killed in strikes during the opening operation that Israel launched this morning with the United States against the Iranian regime. This official goes on to say this is one of the largest regime decapitation operations conducted in modern warfare history, and that Israeli intelligence...
Check out that specific number, 40. We aren't just talking about the supreme leader being gone. The reports are confirming a total decapitation of the entire command structure. Over 40 high-ranking security and regime figures were wiped out in a single opening operation. Think about the level of intelligence required for that. They had to be inside the room, virtually, to know exactly where these people were gathered. It's one of the largest systematic dismantlings of a government in modern warfare history. The power vacuum left behind is absolutely massive. While the world watches the headlines about the top guy, the real story is that there's almost no one left in the mid-tier to even give orders to the rank and file. It's a complete operational blackout for the regime. You can tell by the way the news is breaking. This wasn't a lucky hit. It was a surgical removal of an entire ruling class.
The fascists. Okay. And you studying political ideologies, you understand what fascism is, and it is not Iran. Because Iran was the Ayatollah Khomeini's rule was achieved through a revolution. It was sort of a coup d'etat.
Yeah.
Fascism rises electorally and democratically, and then turns on its constituents.
Yes.
Ayatollah Khomeini's regime is not fascist in nature.
So what do you say to the folks that say that it's fascism because they make women wear a hijab?
This is wild to watch. You've got a guy in the West trying to explain the academic nuances of a theocracy versus fascism while defending a regime that's been systematically oppressive for years. Look at the moment he gets pressed on the actual reality of human rights. He just shuts down. It's a perfect example of how theory falls apart when it meets real-world suffering. People on the ground in Iran aren't debating political science textbooks. They're dealing with the actual boot on their necks. It's fascinating and a bit frustrating to see someone so far removed from the danger try to intellectualize it. He calls the U.S. the true fascist state, while the regime he's defending literally mandates every aspect of life under threat of violence. The irony here is so thick you can practically feel it through the screen. It really shows the massive disconnect between street-level activism and the reality of those living under these leaders.
The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
Donald Trump in the USA! Biggest threat in the world today.
Notice the contrast here. You have these massive protests in New York City with people chanting about the people united. But if you look at the reports coming from Tehran, the actual people there are the ones celebrating the leadership's end. It's like two different worlds. You have to wonder if these protesters have ever actually spoken to an Iranian refugee about what life was like under that regime. The privilege of being able to protest a strike that's essentially liberating the very people you claim to support is a heavy concept to wrap your head around. It really highlights how much we take for granted in terms of safety and the right to speak out. While they're blocking traffic in Manhattan, families in the Middle East are feeling a sense of hope they haven't had since 1979. It's a deep, complex divide that really defines the current global mood.
Look like they're scared. Oh, but see, what happens is our elected representatives, they say that people are scared. They do that to program them to feel scared for nothing. Maybe that's why they're continuing to protest in the street.
Look at the joy in these clips. This is what happens when a shadow is finally lifted. These are people who have family members back home who have been silenced for years. Seeing them take to the streets in London and Paris isn't just about politics. It's a deeply personal victory for millions. You can see it in their faces. It's pure, unadulterated relief. This is the part the news cycles often miss when they focus only on the explosions and the military strategy. They forget the human element of what it means to finally feel like your home country might have a future again. The energy in these shut it down protests is intense, but again, the narrative is so split. It's a high stakes moment where everyone is picking a side, but the side that seems to be winning right now is the one that wants a total change in direction. The question now is what happens tomorrow? With the leadership gone and the streets on fire globally, the next 72 hours are going to be the most critical in modern history. The world just changed in a heartbeat. What do you think happens next? Drop a comment and let's talk about it.